Theresa May, hear us say!
Immigrants are here to stay!
Theresa May, hear us say!
Immigrants are here to stay!
Brexit is racist!
Stop Brexit now!
Brexit is racist!
Stop Brexit now!
Antonia Bright, Movement for Justice. We are now in front of the Supreme Court. You are demonstrating. It's not the first day you are here. And you are demonstrating about Brexit, against Brexit. What do you expect from the court?
I mean, the court's obviously deciding quite a narrow question about what next step for Brexit, and we want to see that they come down on the same side as the High Court, that this has to be debated in Parliament. If it's debated in Parliament, then it allows another step of more scrutiny. More challenge can be made about the whole content of this. But in the long term, we want to see Brexit stopped because it is only going to lead in the direction of more racism and more fascism. That is the real danger of Brexit.
The supporters of Brexit say that this is the people's will, and you want to stop the people's will by means of politicians.
Well, do you know what? Democracy is about a lot more than just like one singular vote. And if it results in more persecution of minority groups, then that's not democratic. Like, where is the protection of any minority groups in this? If it leads to greater racism, then, or if the majority get to just through one vote, like, this is the narrowness of this particular way of doing things, is that through one vote a majority can basically vote down the rights of a minority. That's not a democracy, that's tyranny. What we need to see is, like, if this is opened up to much further debate, there is a strong chance people have already been changing their minds and rethinking because they've witnessed the impact of Brexit since the result, which has already been more racist attacks, more violence, some murders on our streets. And so there's probably a lot of people now who have a lot of trepidation about this, and so why take away the rights to discuss, you know what I mean, and think through this before getting into a situation where it's a fait accompli in the hands of Theresa May.
When you talk about people who changed mind, maybe you are referring also to the recent by-election where a Lib Dem prevailed.
Yeah, I mean, there's all this sort of signs anyway. There's a lot of confusion or anger. I don't know, like, there's a lot of lies were said in the run-up to that referendum. But I think, yeah, like, London voted heavily to remain, Scotland voted to remain. It's a very divided country over this question. And so rushing something through just because of one vote without having that, discussed further, it's going to end up still polarized. But again, the biggest beneficiary of Brexit, and this is my real problem, is not so much about the in or out of Europe, is that the real beneficiary of Brexit is going to be the fascists. And that may not be fully understood because it's not everyone who experiences the racism going on. But for the communities, Black and Asian communities, for immigrant communities, it's already real. And there's also a lot of people, even who came from the EU, who have described feeling unsafe for the first time being here.
About the racist fallout of Brexit, we have heard many stories soon after the vote. But what's the situation now? Now, after many months, so maybe the climate is not so hot like the time of vote, or it is not so?
I mean, it's still pretty bad. I mean, the other side of the impact of Brexit was what happened in the way that it inspired Trump's campaign and that result. So I think there may be more people coming to the conclusion of how, like, a situation like this can lead us towards tyranny, not greater democracy, but actually the opposite of what probably a lot of people intended or thought. And the way that it's inspired Trump, the way that it's inspired Le Pen and other fascist groups across Europe, it's kind of a wake-up call. So at this stage, we need to really look at it, we need to rethink, and we need to deal with the real questions.